Hi, this is Jason Fielder with the Daily Forex Report for August 6th. We're looking at the range for the US Japanese yen pair, looking for the range to be no higher than 110.18 and on the low side 107.92. This pair is moving higher. It has a bias to the upside. I anticipate it running into a little bit of resistance though at the 110 level, so definitely keep an eye on that. And as far as support that should come into the market, we should see some at the 108.50 level. So that would be right about here. So keep an eye on that if this market continues to pull back and come lower. Now looking at the Euro-USD pair, this pair has continued to move lower. The bias is to the downside, and we have this pair moving lower, and we're looking for the range to be between 1.5360 and on the high side 155.51. Now I am looking for some support to come into the market at this point. As far as resistance goes, pretty much looking at it to come into the market at this point. So the range is pretty much the support and resistance for this next session. Something interesting you may want to take a note of, and it may be better if I move out to the weekly time frame to do this. But if you're short this particular pair and you're looking for a possible exit, take a look at the weekly time frame. If you've noticed, we've hit a low here and we've hit another low here, so we could definitely take this first target and look for the market to continue and bounce off of this. Now if we get a close below this second low, or this first low, depending on how you read the chart, if we get a close below it, there's pretty much nothing. We're wide open looking back for a good little run to occur. So if you if you're short this pair, you may want to take a look at these particular levels and definitely keep an eye on them. Look for the market to bounce off of them or potentially break through them. If we get a breakthrough, then just look for a very quick run to the downside. Now looking back at the pound US dollar pair, this pair continues to move lower. We're looking for the range to be between 196.29 on the high side and on the low side 194.22. I'm looking for resistance to come into the market at 195.50, and on the downside support to come into the market around 194.50. So about 100 pip range there for our support and resistance for this next session. Now looking at the US Swiss pair, this particular pair is moving higher. The bias is to the upside. We do have a range between 1.0643 and on the lower side 1.0470. Now looking for some resistance to come into the market just a little bit lower at 1.0625, and on the downside looking for some support to come into the market at around the 1.0420 level. So those are some levels to look for during this next session. Now if you recall, we had two other trades, possible trades, one in the euro pound. We had this nice move up, strong move up, and we had a pullback that created an inside bar for us, and what we were looking for this next session was a break of this high to go long, which didn't occur. You may want to keep an eye on it to see if that develops, but I typically like only to take this trade if it breaks out on this particular bar, but I will keep an eye on it. Now looking over at our other pair that had a similar setup, pretty much the same setup, but just going in the opposite direction, was the pound Swiss. This pair dove down and then pulled back over the next session, moving higher, closing higher, and created an inside bar. And we were looking for the market to push lower beyond this point and break that and move lower. This did not occur. It actually closed up and has reversed and started going the other way. So that's what happened in those two potential trades. Now the Japanese yen pair, they had their leading index for June released. It was a little bit better than expected, but overall was down. One of the cabinet offices said that there's a high probability that their economy is in a recession or headed to a recession. So for all those who enjoy the carry trade, this could be some good news for it. The Canadians had their Purchasing Managers Index released, and it was better than expected. Don't believe it helped the Canadian dollar that much during today's session, though. As far as looking ahead, we have the euro. The Eurozone has the German trade balance for June being released. It appears that, or the consensus is that it's going to be higher. We also have, and this is I guess the big news for tomorrow, we have the Bank of England releasing their rate decision at 7 a.m. Eastern Time, followed right up with the European Central Bank releasing their rate decision at 7:45 a.m. The consensus on both of these is that they're going to hold rates where they are, the pound at 5% and the euro at 4.25%. So until tomorrow, this is Jason Fielder. Good trading.